Hello. Today we're studying order of operations. As always, you are taking notes and completing any examples in your math notebook. So our first thing to talk about are two definitions, the first of which is numerical expression. A numerical expression includes only numbers and operational symbols. There are no equal signs in expressions, and we'll talk more about that later. To simplify is to find an equivalent expression that is simpler than the original one given to you. So to simplify is to find an equivalent expression simpler than the one given to you. At this point, pause if you need to so that you can continue getting this written down. I'm going to move on. Now, the point of this video today is getting deep and dirty with order of operations. So order of operations is the series of steps to solve numerical expressions. This is what keeps everyone getting the right answer, even though we do things differently. The first step in solving order of operations, get PEMDAS, first of all, out of your mind. Forget PEMDAS at this point. The first step you're going to do is perform operations into grouping symbols first. Grouping symbols meaning parentheses, brackets, and other ways to put numbers together. So that's why we're saying get rid of PEMDAS, because it's no longer just parentheses. You have other options now. So grouping symbols goes first. The second thing is to find the values of the numbers with exponents, which we've been studying the last couple of days anyway. So you're grouping first, then your exponents go second. The third thing is to multiply, and please circle, highlight, mark over, or divide. So it's whichever comes first from left to right, as given in the problem. So you're multiplying or you're dividing from left to right. It's not just multiply because it comes first in PEMDAS. It's multiply or divide. They're equally important. Finally, you're going to go back to the problem and you're going to work on any addition or subtraction from left to right that comes in the problem. Again, adding and subtracting are equal values, so don't give one heavier weight. Do whatever comes first from left to right. So again, pause if you need to, but get all of this recorded into your notebook. Now we're going to get into some examples, and I'm going to do a couple with you, and then I'm going to pause and let you keep on working for a couple. So the first is 9 plus 12 times 2. So in our order of operations, we don't have any grouping symbols. We don't have any exponents. So our next option is multiplying or dividing, and we do have multiplication. So the way I want you to go about solving problems with order of operations is to underline what you're solving first, and then write the answer right below the problem. So 12 times 2, and again, I'm putting the operation with the problem. So 12 times 2 is 24, and I'm bringing down that plus sign. And then I bring down my 9 because it didn't get used in the first part. The next part is adding and subtracting. So again, I'm going to underline that just until you get into a habit of it, and I'm going to put that together. So I know that 24 plus 10 is 34, and it's one less, so the answer is going to be 33 to this expression. Okay? So our next one is 4 times 3 to the second power plus 8 minus 16. So again, the first thing is groupings. I don't have any groupings on my board. The second is exponents. I do have an exponent. I noticed that exponent right there. So I'm going to underline that part first. 3 to the second power is the same as 3 times 3. So that answer is 9. And I'm going to bring down the rest of my problem. It's going to be repetitive in the beginning, but I want you to do that until I'll give you clearance to go freehand. So our next step is multiplying or dividing. And I've only have one multiplication part. So I'm going to underline that. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 8. I'm bringing down the rest of the problem now. So now I'm adding or subtracting, whichever comes first from left to right. And I have the addition part first, because that comes first in the problem. 36 plus 8, so I know 36 and 10 is 46, back off, so it's 44, minus 16. And then I'm left to simplify here. 44 minus 16, I'm going to go on my scratch work. Oops. 14. if my math is correct, I end up with 28. So at this point, what we're going to do is I'm going to give you, let's do one more together, sorry. One more together, and then I'll let you go off on your own. There we go. So this time we have 4 to the second power plus 48. Sorry. 4 to the second power plus 4 to the 8th power divided by 10 minus 4. Then that's actually I'm gonna call that 48 because I'm just a 48. 4 to the second power plus 48 divided by, in parentheses, 10 minus 4. So groupings go first. Groupings, I have 1 over here, so 10 minus 4 is my first grouping. So I'm going to simplify that and bring the rest of my problem down. 4 squared plus 48 divided by 6. Next is exponents. 4 squared is 16. And then bring the rest of my problem down. Then we have division because we don't have any nothing over here. And then we solve. And that's the simplifying that way. So our next one, I'd like for you to try on your own. I want you to push pause, work out the problem, and then when you think you've got it solved, or if you get stuck, then resume playing and I'll have the problem solved for you. So again, push pause right now. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going. So first thing to do is grouping. So 81, and then bring the rest of your problem down. So the next part is exponents. So I've got 4 to the 3rd power, so that's 4 times 4 is 16. And then 16 times 4, whoops, is 4, so 64. So this is 64. So 81 divided by 81, so I bring the rest of the problem down, including the operation. And now I have division. 81 divided by 81 is 1 plus 64 is 65. And let's do one more. Again, here's the problem. Record it, then push pause, solve it, and then come back to see if you did it right. So in my grouping, I have a lot going on, don't I? So in the grouping, I have to first do my exponent. So keep my grouping together. So 2 squared is 2, plus 18. Bring the problem down. And then in my grouping, 18 plus 4 is 22. Bring the rest of my problem down. Now my grouping is gone. I can multiply and divide. Sorry, my exponents are gone. So I now can multiply and divide. And bring the rest of my problem down, including the operation. That comes down too. You can't forget it. So now we have a plus, adding and subtracting. Adding is coming first in the problem. That's the first we're going to do. And then ends up with 5. And I've got a few more word problems I'd like for you to do as well. I don't have answers for those yet, but go ahead and work on those in your notebook. There's this problem. Regina bought 5 carved wooden beads for $3 each and 8 glass beads for $2 each. Write and evaluate the expression. So go ahead and work on that, solve it in your notebook, and we'll talk about it in a little bit. And I've got one more following this. Tyler walked 2 miles a day for the first week of his exercise plan. Then he walked 3 miles for the next 9 days. How many miles did Tyler walk? Again, give it to an expression form, then solve.